Hello. Hey, hello, hi, hello. This is my first video in like a while. First real video in a while. It's gonna maybe be a new series. I want to just record myself playing probably Swordburst 2 and just talking about either the game just in general, not like commentating my own gameplay, because I'm just grinding this event boss for his skill, man. Like, it's nothing special. But I just want to talk about, the state of Swordburst 2. Because it's like I was really I used to get really mad about Swordburst 2 updates because they would always be bad, or like every update after floor 11 dungeon, which was almost 2 years ago now, has just been really bad in one way or another. It's either like every update and event now follows like the same pattern of either being like basically no content at all and being like not even worth the time to play, or it's a bunch of content and it's like terribly balanced. It's like really bad. Like 2022 Halloween, for example. Like, that was such a cool event floor with tons of content. It was basically floor 12, well, floor 12 didn't exist yet, so it was basically floor 12 at the time. But they just had to make the items the strongest items in the game, and it wasn't even close. Like, it wasn't even like Prism Wrath, where like Prism, when it came out, was the strongest weapon in the game, but it was only by like 400 damage, so it wasn't really like a requirement you had to get it. The Halloween weapons were like the best weapons in the game at the time were like 3,300 damage, I think. And the Halloween things did like 7,500. It was ridiculous. And they were so strong that they basically ruined the entire base game, because every boss you could just solo without even thinking. You could just stand at Saurus, or Saurus, however you say it, the all-seeing eye, the skeleton beatboxer dude or whatever. You could just stand in front of him and he wouldn't damage you, which, for the final boss at the time, that's pretty pathetic, you know? So yeah, that was really bad. Then they had a few events that were basically filler garbage and were like nothing at all. Then there's this event, which, honestly, I'll give them this. This event is like the one exception to the every update has been bad, because this event's pretty sick. Like, there's some event tributes, which I think tributes as a whole are really silly and stupid and terrible, but oh well, what are you gonna do? The contributors have to glaze themselves somehow. They gotta make their items super valuable for no reason. But whatever, that's fine. It doesn't really affect gameplay. You don't have to get them at all. But they just had to make the new update. This Eternal Garden thing. This sucks. It's listed as a separate floor. I've heard that it's supposed to be like a subfloor of floor 12, like the same way Battle Arena is for floor 1 or Arcadia. But to me, it feels like it's Helmfirth again, which is a separate floor. So if this is floor 13, it's the worst floor in the game. It's literally an open field with two things to do. There's two bosses and some minions. And the bosses are like obscenely strong, or the main boss is like insanely strong. He's harder than Atheon to farm, which is super annoying. And he drops the new best gear in the game, which completely invalidates the people who grinded for tier 3 bursts. And I didn't even bother to grind for tier 3 bursts, but I grinded for the stupid flame, and now it's useless because he drops gear that's better than it. Like, there's no reason to even get tier 3s. It's a waste of time, it's a waste of everything. And when they came out, they were like, this is the final gear we'll ever add to the game. It's the late game stuff. It's always going to be the best. And then they make something else that's stronger and makes it useless. That's the same thing they've been doing with the last like 6 updates. Every time they add something, They make it super hard to get, and they always say this is the last thing we're adding. They won't. This is the end game. This is the final stuff. Look at it. I wasted like, I don't know, like 60 legendaries buying the recipes for these. Oh my goodness, when did I get these armors? For buying these burst tier armors. Can I just search up burst? Yeah. I spent so much money on these tier 1, well, they're called tier 1 now, but at the time these were meant to be the final things ever added to Swordburst 2. Or like the strongest things that will ever exist. I spent all my stuff buying these. I got red crafters, I got the, I think I dismantled the burst armor because it was so useless. But I had every single one. I spent like thousands of legendary crystals maxing them out. And now they're completely useless. They're totally obsolete. There's no reason to ever use these again. And I wasted all my money on them. The only thing you can still really use is the accessories. And that's only because I haven't even bothered to get stronger ones. There's better ones now, but I still use whatever this word is. Apotheosis. Apotheosis. Something like that. But yeah, there's no reason to ever use these. They're garbage now, and I can't trade them either, so it's not like I can get something out of them. The only thing I can do is dismantle them for fractions of the amount of crystals I spent on them. So it just really sucks, and they keep doing this. They add more bursts, and then they end up being useless. At this point, I'm not even going to bother grinding for any bursts, because there's no point, because they're always going to add some new junk that's stronger, and is either easier to get, or it's always easier to get. Also, here's a separate thing. The current strongest weapon in the game is a tribute, which I think is super dumb. That's terrible. It shouldn't be a 1 in 25,000 boss drop for the strongest gear in the game. That's gonna literally take weeks, if not months, to get, which is really dumb. I know Swordburst 2, grueling, grindy game. That's the whole point. You grind and you make friends by talking while you're grinding. That's about the whole game. That's the whole point. But this is too far. I don't even have much of a life, and I have too much of a life to get that, which sucks because now I feel inferior because I don't have the best gear, which is just dumb. It's bad. It shouldn't be like this. I really hope that they add new content soon that isn't terrible and has the gear stronger than the tribute. This is the one time ever I'm hoping they add something that's stronger than the current strongest gear. Every time they update, I hope it's the final update, because every time they update it, the state of the game gets worse. At this point, the only people playing are the people who have sunk so much time in the game. There's like no reason to quit. Like, I've played this game for 6 years now, and I love this game. I still love this game, even if it's been very poorly run ever since Floor 11 came out. But I still love this game. I'm never gonna quit it. I can't just up and quit it. I'm never gonna sell my stuff for Robux. I think that's a little bit silly to do. But I have all this stuff. I've spent years collecting, trading, especially trading. I've spent so much time on all this stuff that I can't just leave. I have to keep playing, but it just keeps getting worse, and it's really frustrating, you know? Like, they just keep putting out slop. And I know everyone's complaining about the last update, because it is really bad. I don't know if it's the worst update ever, which is really sad. The fact that an update this, like, universally hated is not even in contention for the worst update ever is it's sad. It's just really sad. And that's just been how it is for the last couple years. So this is basically my plea to the contributors or developers, whatever they go by, to please stop making the worst balance decisions ever. It's pretty much too late to revert balance changes, but it's really bad where the direction the game's going. Please stop at like level 500. I know they're gonna make 413. They're already talking about it. It's inevitable. 413 or 14 if this junk is 413. This is rushed out garbage. Please let 413 be good and not be like the best weapons in the game by a mile. They keep doing this. The last two, like floor 12, the jump from... Okay, when floor 11 was finished, they were level 130 items, then they got rebalanced or whatever, which was really dumb, but... Like, the best weapons here do 73, or 7,324 damage when they're maxed, which is a lot. That's way too much for Swordburst 2, in my opinion. And then the best gear on floor 12 is 31,000. The jump is so ridiculous. Like, if you have floor 12 gear, it's not even... You don't even have to think when you're going to any other floor in the game. It's so dumb, and I really don't like it. Like, I don't want to be a boomer, but back in my day, and like, when floor 10 came out, and even floor 11, like, the best gear was barely better, which you might say is a bad thing, but I think it was really cool. It gave you so many options. Like, when floor 10 was out, you could use floor 9 legends, and they were just as good, basically. They did slightly lower damage, but some of them had better passives, and some of them had better range, and they also could look cooler. That's opinionated, but you know. But yeah, when floor 10 came out, you could use, well, I guess Divine is the best, but you could use any of the floor 9 legends and floor 10 legends, and they were all basically even. And that was so sick. And we're never gonna have that again with how the balance is now, which is really silly. And yeah, the fact that the single best weapon in the game is a single weapon type, it's a longsword that looks like a katana. Oh yeah, it's also a longsword, so you need 2 of these 1 in 25,000 boss drops that take like 5 minutes per kill at least. So, good luck with that. I'm not even bothering. But yeah, there's no options either. It's not like there's one tribute for... If it was one tribute for each weapon type, that'd still suck really bad, but it would suck way less than what it is now. I don't even want to use dual wield. I know I am right now, but like, this isn't my main weapon type. I like great swords. I like, well, I kind of like spears. They're cool. But long swords I only ever use when I want to just look cool in event floors. Like, I'm not using achromatic soul. I'm level 386. But yeah, I basically main 2 hands, and you can't even main a 2-hand if you want the best weapon in the game. You can't. You have to use dual wield, which stinks. It's poopy. This last update, poopy. That's my verdict. Yeah. Bye.